It's Wednesday, the 9th of November, and how are we? I hope everyone is alright. I'm doing just fine. I'm having a nice little stroll down to go and do some shopping, going to the supermarket, and I'm going to buy myself, some stuff. But also as well just to kind of be out for a nice walk, because I think I need to vent a little bit. Something happened last night. History was made. Donald Trump was elected as the 45th President of the United States of America. Formerly united, I suppose, now. God. I don't actually know a great deal about it. I don't feel like I have much of an entitlement to be angry about it, because I don't really know what's going on. But from what I can gather, it was a choice between a rock and a hard place. It was like, well, we're going to lose either way. So it was kind of down to America to vote for the least bad option. And according to most sources, they voted for the worst option. You know, I followed a bit of it. I only really kind of heard all of the really sort of controversial stuff, because that's all the stuff that makes the most news, you know, about Donald Trump wanting to build a wall and Hillary Clinton sending some emails and stuff like that. Like, I heard a bit about that and stuff, but like it's been an absolute farce, hasn't it? I heard on the radio yesterday, right, while all the Americans were voting yesterday, I heard on the radio that in California there had been shootings nearby one of the polling stations, so that there had to then be extra security nearby for that. There was extra security drafted into the places where Clinton and Trump were staying because they were in danger. There were massive vans full of sand parked outside Trump Tower in the US, wherever the hell in the US it is. There were massive vans full of sand parked outside because they were suspecting some sort of car bomb to be driven into it. It makes me that makes me angry. That's what's making me angry, and that's what's making me really kind of depressed at the whole situation. Is like, this is an election. This is a country trying to choose its next leader, and they're arguing so badly that then people might be attacked for it. People probably were attacked. It just seems absolutely unfathomable that this is the most powerful nation on earth, that they can't get it right, that it's kind of just fallen apart almost, like it's just not been taken seriously. I think everyone kind of feels like it's gotten to a point where they're just going to wake up in the morning and it's going to be like, fooled you. But we have woken up in the morning and it's not a joke. You know, I mean, that's kind of a downside now of moving to Canada, is that I'll be a lot closer to that mess. You know, it's, I don't know. I do not know. There's going to be some interesting times ahead, I'm very sure of that. Of course, the person I feel sorry for, off the back of all this, is Barack Obama. Because Trump doesn't get sworn in until January, so he doesn't officially get control until then. Which means that Obama's now got like 2 more months of dealing with all this expletive. He's got 2 more months of dealing with all this rubbish before, you know, it's like it's coming to the end of his term, right? He's just about to put his feet up. If you look at a before and after photo of him as president, he's aged a lot, you know, and he's probably looking forward to the end. And now he's got to deal with a whole heap more stuff just to kind of, I don't even know. He's got to deal with all this nonsense now. I don't know. Someone made an interesting point yesterday. We could be about to witness another presidential assassination. and they said that it doesn't really matter who gets in. There's a good chance that it could be either one of them that just gets taken out. Which ought to be, well, it would be tragic, but interesting at the same time, nonetheless. What it says is, it says two things. It says that you should apply for a job, regardless of what experience you have, because you might get it. At the same time, though, it does also say that just because you can, doesn't mean that you should. I don't really know, to be honest. I haven't really worked out how I feel about it. Trepidation, I think, is probably the best way to describe it. You know, we could be in for a tumultuous time, to put it nicely. I mean, he's now in charge of the most powerful country in the world. This man has access to nuclear weapons. Was that smart? Was that wise? Probably not. We'll see what happens. You know, this is the man that's going to turn up to public events. He's going to turn up to world meetings to try and figure out the world's problems. And his solution to a problem was just building a wall around it. A little bit sceptical. But hey, he might prove us all wrong. So we was watching Sky News yesterday as they covered what was going on in America during the elections and stuff, and they had some sort of reporter out there. I say reporter, journalistic parasite is probably more accurate. She was out there. I don't know what her name was. I don't know if it was Kay Burley or someone. It's normally Kay Burley. I don't know. Anyway, she was out there over in America trying to get everyone's reactions and things like that. And she was like in this restaurant, and she just kind of walked up to this American family while they were midway through their meal and said, "So, first of all, how's your food?" Like, she worked there. I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's good, thanks." "Oh, good. So which way did you vote?" And they just looked there like all speechless and that. We were kind of arguing about politics and stuff, so I didn't really get to hear what they were saying. But then she went into a bar and found two other Americans that were sat there just trying to have like a quiet drink, and she bursts in like, "So everyone's here, as you can see, the bar's really busy, they got the coverage of the election on the tellies." It's like, yeah, because it's a pretty big thing over there. It's a pretty big thing around the world. You might not know about it. And she kind of walks up to these two fellas stood at the bar. It's like, "Hi guys." "Hey." She didn't even introduce herself. And like, "So, which way did you vote?" Like, just straight out with it. "Which way did you vote?" And the guy sat there and, you know, fair play to him, was like, I think that's for me to know." And she was like, "That's for you to know. If I was to push you though." And the guy was like, "Oh, if you were to push me, then I still think that's for me to know." And then she kind of left it, and I was like, "Yeah, fair play to that man. Absolutely. Your vote is your business. You don't need to tell people which way you voted, much less so if it's some journalistic harbinger followed about by cameras. You know, you don't need to announce which way you voted, let alone to the whole world. You know, especially over one of the most controversial presidential debates of our time. In fact, probably the most presidential controversial debate of our time. Yeah, you know, that. It's gonna be an interesting period of time, to say the least. Very interesting indeed. In other political news, here in the UK, obviously we voted to leave the European Union, and now it seems like various governing bodies and political authorities are saying that actually that was a complete waste of time. And they're wanting the vote changed and appealed and all that sort of thing. What was the bloody point in holding a vote? You know, like, a lot of this was kind of floating around immediately after the UK voted. It was kind of like, "Oh well, let's have another one." There were all these joke petitions floating around, but let's have another vote and try and get us to stay this time. But now that's actually kind of almost happened. People are trying to get it overturned, and it's like, that's not how voting works. You know, fine. It wasn't the outcome that people wanted. You know, I voted to stay in the EU. There you go. Like I say, you don't have to say which way you voted, but you know what? I don't mind saying that because I feel like voting to stay was the most sensible thing to do. And that's the end of that, right? So I voted to stay in the EU, okay? But at the same time, right, the vote came out as, sorry, we are leaving. And it's like, you know what? Fine. That's the way the vote went. What can be done about it? I ain't crying into my milk, going, oh no, I want it recounted, I want to do it again, I want it to come out that we stay this time. You know, I ain't happy with the decision, but you know, what can be done about it? You know, it's like that is a decision that has been reached, but apparently you can just have another vote anytime you like and get it overturned. I didn't actually know that was a thing. If that was a thing, I wouldn't have voted for Nick Clegg back in the election where we ended up with a coalition government. I'd have voted Labour instead. There we go. Nevertheless. Anyway, my point being is that if the UK can do it for leaving the European Union, then I'm sure America can re-vote to actually decide that they wanted someone else instead of Trump. It's, I don't know. The world's so broken, isn't it? Just wake up every morning and you think to yourself, God, it's the same old planet Earth. It's not working. It's not working in the way that it should be. It's absolutely mental if you think about it. The only real reason that Trump got as far as he did was the same as how Farage did it here in the UK when it came to electing a government and indeed to leaving the EU. You have such a bombastic personality, such a media-friendly personality. I say media-friendly in the sense of it'll always generate some form of story. Right, Nigel Farage was always in the news because he was, you know, because of the comments he made and things he did and stuff like that. Exactly the same with Trump. Because there's such gold mines for media representation. They just get all of the coverage. And then the more coverage they get, the more people see it, and then the more exposed to it they are, the more people go, actually, you know what, that's not a bad way of thinking. And then before you know it, you've elected Donald Trump as your president. It's not good. Meanwhile, in Canada, who knows what's going on? I'm going to Google it. In Vancouver, rare black cougar blamed for attack on tiny therapy horse. This is like the top news stories according to CTV News going on in Vancouver. Keep missing mother in your thoughts, worried husband pleads. Gunman in deadly California rampage was high on cocaine. British Columbia bans tail docking for dogs, horses and cattle. Double rainbow over Vancouver as city shatters temperature record. There's no controversy here. There's nothing ridiculous. It's just normal news. You know, there's no political scandal, no bombast. Which is going to be damn refreshing next year. Assuming the planet makes it to next year. It's a worrying thought, but realistically true as well. Worrying times. Anyways, I will see you in the next vlog. Sorry it's been a bit of a one-trick pony this time around. And sorry for the clickbaity title as well, but you know, you have to you have to a little bit. Anyways, see you all next time. Bye.